Hello, Nusa. This is your fabulous Uncle Trip coming to you from beautiful Beverly Hills, California. And I honestly thought this would just be the fastest way because of the time difference to talk to you. And it's just been so fun keeping up with you. Um, as I was saying to you the other day on the phone, I it's weird for me because I know that we are in the middle of a global pandemic, and I know that we have a madman in the White House, and I know that we still have babies in cages, and you were telling me that the Slovenian country is going through the exact same thing. So I know it's weird that the only thing that I obsess and care about is my ridiculous open mic show on Zoom, but I do. I'm obsessed over it. It's ridiculous. It's the only thing I have, and also it allows me, in a very, very real sense of the word, it allows me to live in a fabulous place like this. So it's very worth doing for me, and I absolutely love it. I did get this text from this message from this guy that I'm having trouble with, and he honestly said to me, he said, if you'd care to make a list of things that about me that make you mad, I'm sure it's things I've heard before. If you'd care to make a list of things about me that make you mad, I'm sure I've heard it all before. Really? Really? If you care to make a list of things about me that make you mad, as I'm sure I've heard it all. What the fuck are you saying to me with that? If you care to make a, that's how I talk to my servants. If you would, right? This would be the house to talk like that in. I'd just be sitting back here like this, If you care to make a list, you'd have to, it's almost a drunken statement. I should get him, hold on, this will be better with a martini glass. As you knew I would have one standing by. I have like four, it'd be like this. If you care to make a list of things about me that make you mad, I'm sure it's all things that I've heard before. Really, motherfucker? And like my first response was, like the first thing that ran into my head was, why don't you just go ahead and send me the previous list and I'll run a comparison. That'll just be easier for me. Seems like me, that's a lot of work you're asking me to do. I mean, what you're telling me is that somebody's probably already made a list, and why don't I just do a comparison? That's really how science works. I'm just going to verify the original findings. At this point, it just kind of sounds like homework, like if you care to make a list of things about me, what the fuck? That's the beginning of about 900 different songs. Right there. If you'd care to make a list about the things that make you mad about the things I heard before, things that hang up the phone and slam the door, there's a list, and you're on it, there's a list, and you're in, right, well, maybe, run with that, I don't know. But what I was thinking was this. My primary problem with this guy in particular is that I feel like it has been a one-sided conversation. That's what annoys me more than anything else. It's the one-sidedness of it. Like, do you ever work with somebody and you have this like idea, or you are saying something that to someone you like, and it's, you say it with lots of energy and color, and then the response that you get back from your colorful, interesting ideas, yeah, okay. You know, and then it's like it kills your idea. It's like the happiness or the joy of giving birth to a fun idea of something that would be joyful. It's like they piss on it with, yeah, all right, that'd be okay. You know, and it's like all the fun for you, all the joy of being a creative person. And, you know, here is this lovely gift that I give to you. And it's like, yeah, okay, whatever. It's the same thing. Here's what's on the list, not with this guy, but with people in general, when they won't make a decision, like on basic, interesting things because they're afraid and stupid. Here's one of them. What would you like for dinner? Oh, I don't know. What would you like for dinner? Well, I don't know. Yeah, it could be anything. Well, I don't know. I guess we'll do that. Right? And like nobody will make a decision. And it's hard because we don't always know. Well, what do I really want for dinner? I don't know. And so rather than make a decision or ask ourselves or dig deeply within ourselves saying, who am I and what would I like to put into my body? You just go, oh, I don't know, what do you want? And it's annoying, it's so annoying. And so on a list of people that make me mad, that I've never gone out to eat with this person. And that's another problem. Like I worked at this so-called would-be friendship. Like I worked at it, like hard, like, and every single fucking dinner and every single fucking coffee or tea or hangout or blah, blah, blah. Every invitation just turned out in a row. And eventually you stop inviting because why? You know, and you feel kind of creepy about not inviting, but then you feel even creepier if you keep doing it. And then you don't know, am I being a creepy guy? Am I being an annoying guy? Am I just a big pest? Am I just a big nuisance? Am I just a part of a shitty job that you hate? Am I just an annoying boss? Am I just a ridiculous neighbor in your life? You know, I don't know, because I get, I don't know. Okay. I don't know. And this is what drives me crazy, but it drives me crazy about everyone. These one-worded sentences. It's like almost as though they're afraid. They're afraid that it will be like the Nixon tapes or the inevitable Trump tapes that are coming, you know, that they'll be gone over by Access Hollywood or BuzzFeed, like their words are so important or that they actually matter. And so rather than saying anything or having an opinion, what they do is go, oh, okay. That, you know, and that's all they do. Is like, you're not going to be fired. You're not going to be fired if you speak in complete sentences. And you're not going to be fired if you say something that I don't agree with. You're not going to, because here's why, and this is super, super important. I can't fire you. I'm not your boss. You don't work for me. Sorry about that. But you don't, and it's so aggravating if you want to make a list about things about me that anger you. Oh my God. But here's the other thing, but this is primary, and it's not specific to this guy, but it's in general. It's absolutely in general. I don't know how to talk to people anymore. And what I mean is I don't know how we communicate to each other anymore. And that's weird because we have 5 million different platforms on which to do it. But now the rules change, and they change every day. And that embarrasses me. It absolutely embarrasses me, Nusa, but I can't keep up. I cannot keep up. And I don't want to sound like the typical boomer. I don't know, what do you want? I don't want to sound like that, but I am that. And I grew up, and for a very long part of my life, I depended on this. This was like my entire social structure was right here. And it was the telephone. And the telephone was great in so many ways because you had to talk to people and you had to put things in context, and you could hear subtlety and nuance and voice, and you could do this, which was thrilling to me because I have an anger issue, but you really could. And if you got really mad, you could throw it. And oh my God, I can't even tell you how many phones I have had to replace because I have thrown them. I have, oh my God. And I used to throw a lot of my cell phones too, and that is an expensive temper tantrum to have when you start throwing cell phones, even in the beginning. And I had an insurance policy on my cell phone, not at first, but after 2 or 3 of them went against the wall, I had to buy it. And there was this thing for a while where it was almost weekly that I would show up at the cell phone store. And at the time, that was in Manhattan, when I lived in Manhattan. And at the time, my cell phone operator was right in the tip of the triangle of the Flatiron Building, which I'll send you a picture of. But it's very iconic. And at the time, right in the tip, there was a little glass store, like part of the tip, they made glass. And I had to walk there every week and replace my cell phone. And they were getting pissed with me because at the time, you know, they were expensive and to replace them was expensive. And they really didn't count on someone doing it the 3, 4, and 5 times that I went in there. It was so embarrassing with me and throwing my cell phone, and it was ridiculous, and throwing my cell phone against the wall in my apartment, but it was in the office of my apartment. And I lived in the village, and I was writing a musical with this guy, and it was in the beginning of email, and I had a cell phone, and it was in the beginning of cell phones. And so I'm in my office and I'm at my computer, and I would become so enraged with him. I would just become enraged over a word, over like a word choice. And I would take my cell phone and I would just throw it against the wall, you know, in this. And what bothers me is that that was over 20 years ago, and I'm still very much doing the exact same thing. It never gets better, and I never fucking grow up. I mean, I haven't smashed this phone, but you better believe that there is a rubber guard on this thing. And it's pretty. I don't have any money, but the money, I spent as much money on the phone that was the most indestructible, because I have lived with me for a long time, and it's just, there are so many broken things. I became a minimalist, really, not because it was a lifestyle choice, but because I just couldn't afford to be anything else. That's really how it turns out. You might think that it's a Buddhist choice, or you might think that it's a philosophical leaning, but no, it's because everything I have, I break. And it's not good for me to be around things. And this background isn't real, and I will still break it. Don't worry, there will be a way to do it. I even break things virtually. So that's why I'm a minimalist, is because I you know, I'm like most men. I ruin everything that I love, and then I destroy it. And then if it isn't perfect, I destroy it. Even if I created it, and then I have to destroy what I created it because it reminds me that I'm imperfect as a human being. And if I'm reminded that I'm an imperfect human being, then I'll have to really deal with the fact that I'm not God, and that is so hard. So that's on the list of things that make me mad. Uh, but the other thing that makes me mad is, speaking of the phones, we don't know how to talk to each other, and we don't call each other on the phone. And then it gets confusing to me because I was okay. Like, okay, I was okay when gradually we were introduced to texting. And texting was great because it was really efficient and you could do things like, it was like one step up from the beeper, you know, when we used to like send people just little tiny little things on a beeper. And it was like beeper advanced and you could just send little messages, but they were hard. And you had to hit 333 to do, I don't know. I never liked the texting, and they were okay because my fingers are fat mostly. That's why they were terrible for me, mostly because it would take me an hour, and for me it was just easier to call, and so I did. So I would call, but everybody was switching to texting, and it got easier. And then gradually, texting became our primary way of communicating to each other. And I never liked that. I don't like texting in general because you miss context and you miss nuance and you miss tone and you miss timing and all of these things that I think are super duper duper important. And texting just kind of eliminates that and it takes it away. And it's really hard to be funny texting. Like, you know, you have to add the fucking smiley face to let people know that you're texting. And why can't I use italics when I'm texting? Like, if I could just put italics on something, you would know that I was being sarcastic. But instead of me being sarcastic or witty, I have to explain to you with a stupid fucking smiley winky face that I'm being witty and sarcastic. And so if I have to point out the fact that I'm being witty and sarcastic with a stupid fucking smiley face, that's retarded to me. And I don't know why we can't do that with texting. Why can't I have an italics? Why can't texting let me be a smartass? It's not fair. It's totally not fair. But I adjusted, you know, I adjusted with spaces and I tried to pick out the emoticons that represented me. It's not easy. I want them to catch the real me, but they haven't come up with the exact emoticon that for the needy, neurotic narcissist with delusions of grandeur and a chronically low self-esteem. I don't know where that fucking emoticon is for that. I don't know what it looks like. It's gonna look like this. There's a reason why I'm wearing sunglasses. It's not because it's sunny. It's not. But all right, I adjusted to the texting and it wasn't easy, but okay, because I had to be a realist and I'm a massage therapist and it was easier for people to make appointments, particularly to get body work. It was easier for them to do it by text than to actually be a man and grow up and have a voice and call me like I was a human being and that I deserved. It's so retarded because you are going to come over to me and you are going to within 3 to 5 minutes be naked and lying down on a table with your face down, with your eyes closed and the lights off. But let's not talk on the phone. Let's go ahead and just text that information. And that's always felt ridiculously wrong to me, but I adjusted because I did get more business because it was easier for anyone to just do it by text. And my problem with texting is that it allows you to be a pussy. That's the problem with texting. It allows you the ability not to deal with emotions that human beings should have to deal with. When you're breaking up with somebody, they should really hear your voice. It's better in person, but I'll give you that. You can't always be in person in this world, but they should at least hear your voice. And this idea that someone would break up with you by text is just this pussy move, is aggravating. I mean, who does it? It's never happened to me. It has not. It has never happened to me because I don't date. You think I get upset over this motherfucker who says, why don't you make a list about me? You think I'm upset about this guy, and I barely associate with him. You can just imagine what I'm going to be like on a date. So I do not date. I know, because I have taken an oath as a medical professional to do no harm. So that is why I do not date. But I can't imagine canceling somebody. Let's say, if, you know, but now we live in the cancel culture. We're allowed to cancel each other. But so I adjusted to the texting. But here's my problem with texting. Now with texting, sometimes I can tell if the person who I texted has seen the text, and sometimes I can't. And I like the ones where I can find out if they have seen the text I sent them. But then this opens a door to me getting really potentially angry, because I'll be looking at my phone and I'll see that I've sent an important text, and I see that they've checked it, but then they haven't responded. And then when I have the knowledge that we're having an active conversation by text, and then I say something, and then suddenly you're not there, it bothers me knowing that you've seen it but not responded, and that will drive me crazy. So on the list of things that make me mad are when you have seen a text that I have sent, but you haven't responded in any way, and I know it. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, it kills me. And worse than that is I don't know whether it's better to send a text or do a Facebook message. And the reason I don't know that is because it's like a half and half with people. You never know. Some people live on Facebook, and in particular, some people live on Facebook Messenger, and some people live only on Facebook Messenger, and some people live only in texting, and then and some people do both. And then it's a question of sending it to them on Facebook Messenger. And people will tell you if they're smart. They say, oh, send it to me on Messenger, I'll get it faster. Or send it, don't get me started on Instagram yet. So people will say, they'll say, send it to me on Facebook Messenger, because I'll see it there first, or be sure to text me. It always used to be sure to text me. But then I do, and you see it and you don't respond. Or if I do it on Facebook Messenger, it's also like, then like their little head pops up, right? And you see like their little head pops up, and they see that you have sent this message, and then nothing. And then that drives me crazy, because it's like, what? Am I nothing to you? I mean nothing. What am I, a clown to you? I am a clown. I am a clown. I am a clown to you. I do that. And then it's like seventh grade lunch table all over again, where nobody wants to talk to me no matter what I do. They've seen my... It drives me absolutely crazy. And then this sets off a series of alarms with me. If I send a message, or I send a text, or I send an email, or I send an Instagram, or I send a, what else is there? What else am I behind on? But if I send all of those and I get nothing, if you want to drive me crazy, don't respond, because here's what happens. This sets off a chain of Aspergian events that I will explain right now. Here's what happens when I send you an email, or I send you a text, or I send you an Instagram, or I send you a thing, and then there's no response, and I don't know whether you have seen it or not. How long do I wait? The first thing is, did they get it? Did it arrive? Because I've sent things before that haven't arrived. I've had important documents, important messages for people, life and career changing messages for people that apparently I have discovered live in my outbox in a permanent queue, and my phone doesn't tell me that they weren't ever sent out, and then later it's revealed to me that I didn't even know about it until the other day, and I'm looking at my phone because a document wasn't getting where it needed to go, and I noticed, I looked, and oh, well, let me see if it's in the outbox, and I look in the outbox, and it has this queue of documents waiting to go out, and some of them have been there for months and months, and my phone didn't tell me that they were still waiting to go out. I should know about this queue. What kind of a queue is this? Is this like the babies in cages where it's a problem that we choose to ignore and line up and not talk about? Is my phone a fucking Republican? Is that what's going on with me? That I have these documents that have been with the pictures, and all of them with pictures. These documents that are being held up by the border. My phone is a Trump supporter. And how am I going to deal with that? Because it knows everything about me. Please, please, phone, don't be a Republican phone. But the problem is, if I don't get a response from an email, I wonder if you got it at all. I wonder, I cannot talk to you. Oh, it's Alicia. I almost should, but no. I'll call her back and then she'll know. So when it gets lined up, when it's a Gmail, I wonder if you got it at all. I wonder if I should send it again. I wonder if you got it, but you chose not to respond to it. I wonder if you got it and you're still processing it. I wonder if you got it, but you have chosen that I am an annoying, horrible, evil human being that does nothing but walk around the internet begging and pleading for attention. Maybe I'm that guy. I don't know, because I have nothing to go on, and that's the most frustrating thing. And then I have to try to tell myself they're just taking their time. And eventually, you know, I learned to adjust to the fact that I live with unsolved problems, that maybe if I just looked at it like a mystery, maybe it's just a mystery. Maybe it's like in the olden West where you would send a letter. Oh, I hope James gets my lovely letter. I hope he does in 3 or 4 weeks. But I don't understand now with email, because email has changed because I was good at email. I had like an email list. I was happening with my email list, and I was good at the email, and I could put pictures in, and I wrote a fabulous little newsletter for whatever the fuck I was doing, which was a lot. I'm always the guy that ends up with the newsletter, but I do. And so email was fun and everybody did it and blah, blah, blah. But now we don't know. And that's my real problem. I never know. Do I send you an email? Do I send you a Facebook? Do I send you an Instagram? My friend Scotty only does Instagram. Like, that's the only place I can ever find Scotty is on Instagram. And Instagram, which is really fun because it's only pictures. Yay, we're all picture, and I love to see Oprah's dog. So yay, Instagram. I love Instagram. But when you try to carry on a text conversation on Instagram with people, my phone gives me like this much room, and I can't see what I'm doing, and I'm trying to text it, and it becomes impossible. And my friend Scotty only lives on, it's the only time we ever communicate with him, and he's really important to me, and he's homeless, and so I only hear from him periodically, and the only way that he communicates with me is on Instagram. And so now I have to do this, otherwise I'm abandoning my friend. And so it's very fast. Or Instagram, or apparently now TikTok, which I've never even looked at, or YouTube. I just don't. Okay, so I don't even know how this turned out. This is super creepy. My phone just turned on randomly and decided that I need to watch Billy Stretch. Here, I mean, I did meet Billy Stretch, by the way. You probably, I knew you at the time. No, I knew you at the time. No, you were here. No, get off my phone, Billy Stretch. I am not in a fucking mood. Although, geez, at least you're fucking doing something. That's most of my problem most of the time. Nobody's fuck. Oh, Billy, well, anyway. I'll get back to Billy. I'll get back to Alicia. I have to finish with Nusa. I have to redo this hair. And so now I just never know how to, if my messages to this guy were getting through. And it was this one-sided conversation forever, and it did nothing but frustrate me. And I think I went through every possible stage on it. Like, I had every possible stage on it, but mostly I just fucking gave up. Like what is that? Like, what is that song that got really popular about some guy's friend overdosing? Say something, I'll give up on you. Say something, I'll give. How did it go? I have to replay it in my head, and I've only heard it a couple of times. Say something, I'll give up on you. Say something, I'll give up on you. Yeah, that's how it's been for like 3 years. Say something, I'll give up on you. Say something, right? And it's just like this one-sided conversation. It's like playing a handball. It's like, what? And it's like, I don't know. So anyway, that was on my list of things that make me angry. So in the future, nobody who will possibly watch the video that has, I have no idea how long it's gone. I do not. By the way, that's another thing that really angers me when people don't watch the entire videos that I send them. It's very, very angry to me. I don't know. It is. It's just, it's ridiculously angry that we live in an age of vast communication, and our ability to reach around the world and support each other has never been more extensive. And yet we have taken this technology and chosen to be somehow even bigger assholes. Bigger assholes, right? Just bigger assholes, because things that exist on the internet, things that exist virtually, things that exist in cyberland, the ability to comment anonymously without repercussion or consequence is destructive. It's destructive that people can essentially yell fire in a crowded theater. It's wrong. It's stupid. We gave everybody the ability to say what they think, and what they chose to do was just be horrible to each other. It's awful. We don't really deserve the internet. We don't deserve it, but we do deserve the haters. And now we're living through that. And I'm upset because some crazy second-rate sketchy scat would-be chartreuse bullshit can't learn to say thank you, and that's more important than babies in cages. So that's the report from America, sweetie. I will talk to you soon. Love you. We're doing the Book of Mail. Don't forget.